Step into a world of romance and mystery with Tamora Rose. Today we're reading chapter 34 of Child of the Wind. Colors swirled before her eyes, pain arced through her body, tears ran down her cheeks, and blood soaked her lower body. Still, Canace refused to lose consciousness. She could not give herself up to the darkness calling her. She must stay awake. So she covered her head, his favorite target, as best she could. He'd kicked her in the face a few times, enough that she tasted blood, and she was no hurry to suffer another blow. His booted foot connected with the back of her head, the only area she couldn't adequately protect, and blackness swam up before her eyes. She forced it back, swallowed the pain, and silently endured. She would not give him the satisfaction of any more screams. Her cousin, apparently bored with her lack of response, knelt beside her and stroked a hand down her hair in a gentle fashion. The gentleness frightened her more than the violence had. It made her tremble and whimper and even shudder, because he was not a gentle man. This she had realized when the blows had first begun to fall. So when he untied her hands and feet, her terror increased tenfold. When he rolled her onto her back, she brought up her tired arm, the one that wasn't broken, to ward him off, but he simply slapped it aside as if it were no more solid than paper. Then he slapped her across one bruised cheek, drawing a ragged cry from her throat despite all her best efforts. While she sobbed, he reached for her gown, tearing it open and exposing her breasts. "No," she tried to shout, but it came out as no more than a frightened whimper. "Yes," he growled. Canace could do no more than cry as he pulled up her skirts and thrust her thighs apart. He didn't seem to care that she was in pain, or that she was bleeding and possibly suffering a miscarriage. He was still going to rape her, and it was more than she could bear. His hands on her thighs made her want to die. Maybe it would be better if he killed her, she decided as his hands dropped to his belt. She closed her eyes, trying to block him out. His weight fell on top of her, pressing her into the packed dirt floor of the small hut. She felt him probing at her, seeking entrance into her body, and prayed for death. Then he was gone, and cool air suddenly danced across her flesh. Her head spun as a sickening thud echoed through the hut. She was too tired, too sore, and too dizzy to see what was happening around her. Mac entered the hut to see Jett on top of a man he couldn't see clearly because Jett's fists were in the way. Turning his head, he saw Canace lying on the ground, legs sprawled and soaked in her own blood. He didn't have to decide who needed him more as he dashed across the room. Hitting his knees, he pulled Canace's skirt down to cover her as she moaned and tried to thrash. "Easy, lass," he muttered as he restrained her. "You're safe now." But she was bleeding heavily and crying softly, and she was clutching her belly. That movement, combined with the blood between her thighs, made him fear the worst. "Jett," he snapped, "Canace needs you." The younger man didn't respond, except to perhaps hit his wife's cousin all the harder. "Jett, your wife is bleeding." Those words finally penetrated Jett's rage-filled mind. He looked down, realized the man beneath him wouldn't be getting up anytime soon, and jumped to his feet. When he turned and saw his wife, battered, bruised, and bleeding, his heart stopped. Fear tangled itself around his throat as he fell to his knees at her side. He was afraid to touch her, afraid not to. She was a mess, and he didn't know what to do about it. Then he saw the blood on her skirt, remembered her cousin crouching between her parted thighs, and red rage filled him once again. He raped her, but Mac shook his head sadly. "I don't think so. I think she's miscarrying. The baby." Jett's heart sank as he realized Mac might indeed be correct. The bleeding, the cramping as she clutched at her belly, it all might mean a miscarriage. "I have to get her home," he said as he gathered her in his arms. She whimpered as he touched her, but he didn't put her down. He couldn't. Mac nodded. "I'll fetch the horses." As the Scot left, Jett sat on the floor, clutching his wife. Her whimpers and cries toward his heart made him want to help her, but he couldn't think of one useful thing to do other than whisper sweet nothings in her ear. And that wasn't helping. Still, he kept whispering, kept talking to her. It seemed like an hour had passed before Mac called out his name. Though Canace was still moaning, Jett crawled to his feet with her in his arms, Trying to keep her as still as possible, he exited the dim hut. Mac stood there, holding his horse. "Hand her to me," the Scot instructed. "I'll hold her while you mount." Gently, ever so gently, they shifted Canace into Mac's arms. She whimpered but didn't open her eyes. Jett pulled himself onto Mac's horse and reached for her. It took some doing, but they managed to get her seated in front of Jett without hurting her too badly. Thankfully, she stayed lost to the world as they manipulated her battered body into position. If she'd been awake, she might have screamed when they discovered one arm was actually broken. The damage was extensive and would make the journey back to Barsland all the more difficult. Jett gathered his reins, but glanced toward the hut as uncertainty twisted his gut. "I'll handle the bastard," Mac promised, "and the other one as well. You take care of my lass." Jett nodded and spurred his horse into as fast a walk as was safe for his young wife. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this chapter, stay tuned for more tales of romance. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with passion and just a touch of magic.